Hey guys, I'm Caleb Everett, and this is A Month to Master, where for the next 30 days, I'll be tackling the hobby of journaling. Alright, so last week I touched on the things that you'll physically need to get started with journaling and sort of an overview of journaling as a whole. Today though, it's time we get down to brass tacks. What the does that even mean? Today, I'm gonna break down how to actually get started with journaling and, more importantly, how to build the habit of journaling consistently. Before we dive into all that, I did wanna let you know that if you're new to this series and you're looking for writing prompts to get started with journaling, as I mentioned in the first video in this series, I'll be leaving writing prompts in the description down below. So check those out if you're looking for them. Just wanna let you know. All right, let's talk about setting up a journaling routine. Creating a routine is essential for building, well, really any new habit. For journaling, what this has meant to me is choosing a specific time each day to sit down and write. Now, when that right time is can vary from person to person, obviously, since everyone's schedule is, well, different. It could be first thing in the morning, it could be in the mid-afternoon, it could be at night just before you go to bed. The key is consistency. I've had to start by blocking out 10 to 15 minutes each day. And I'm hoping that with journaling, the more and more I do it, I'll actually write longer and longer every day. I just have to remind myself right now that it's about quality, not quantity. And knowing that consistency is ultimately what will help me stick with it. Expert tip from someone who is definitely not an expert: place your journal somewhere visible as a cue for you to write, so that over time this habit will become routine to your day-to-day life. Also, set reminders on your phone, whether it's on your calendar, whether it's you just actually setting an alarm, and set it to the time that you want to start journaling, which brings me to the point of finding your ideal journaling time. What I've discovered is that the time of day that I choose to journal significantly impacts the quality of my entries. Since I'm doing both bullet journaling and daily journaling, I've actually divided my time on when I do it. I bullet journal in the morning and then daily journal in the evening just before I go to bed. And what I've found is that my morning journal, my bullet journal, is normally pretty free-flowing and it feels good. Like when I'm writing, it flows naturally, it feels organic, it doesn't feel like I'm forcing it. Even though it's bullet journaling and really I'm just sort of laying out my goals and tasks for the day, but even then I still find myself, even with my bullet journal, writing about the dreams I had. I'm trying to get lucid dreams. I've read that if you write them down in the morning, it doesn't matter. I'll let you know if I've mastered my dreams one day. But anyway, I'm writing that down, I'm writing down my goals, my tasks. It doesn't feel hard, it doesn't feel like it's an obligation. Whereas when I get to the evening and I go to write about my day, man, I just hit a brick wall. I'm just sitting there and I'm like, what do I write about? Which is insane, because it's like, was I there? Did I experience my own day? I don't know. I just don't know what to write about. And I'm making it sound like I don't write. I do write. It's just shit. Some people may find that writing in the morning is the best. It allows you to structure your day. Perhaps that's just the one time when you don't have the external forces of your life laying on you throughout the day. So maybe the morning is the best for you. Whereas others, unlike me, might prefer the evening because then they can reflect on the day that they've had. For some reason, I just cannot do that. My suggestion would obviously be to experiment with different times. Whatever feels the most productive, the most natural for you, that's the best time for you to write. I would, though, consider your energy levels throughout the day. I would not try to set a time to journal when your energy level is tanking. Apparently, through journaling, I've discovered that at night, my brain just doesn't want to work. It doesn't. Factor that in whenever you're setting your own schedule. Is when do I have the energy to do this? Because that is very important. However, all the energy levels and timing means nothing if you don't create a comfortable journaling space. Now, I have tried journaling in a lot of locations. Yes, including here. And when I'm not comfortable, I just don't write well. I feel hurried. I feel like I just want to get it over with. My mind is not free-flowing. I'm not concentrating on what it is I'm supposed to be writing. I'm more concentrating on my environment. Maybe somebody's looking at me. Maybe I'm in a cramped, tight space. I don't know. But whatever it is, I don't concentrate and my quality of work declines tremendously. So for me, I try to make my habit set in the same location every day, which is right here in my kitchen. This is where I journal every single morning. I really love it because it's far enough away from electronic devices that I don't get distracted. It also allows me to have my morning coffee. It's actually 3 o'clock, so that's bourbon, but anyway. And I can do all that right here while I'm journaling. I don't get distracted, which is a huge thing for me. If my phone is within arm's reach, I will just, that's where I'll be. It's a mindless device, stay away from it. My recommendation obviously is to find a quiet, comfortable place in your own home, or it could be anywhere that you want it to be. Just find somewhere that you won't be disturbed and that you won't get distracted. I would also tell you to do it somewhere that's really well lit, sort of awaken the senses. I've also seen a lot of people talking about setting personalized creative flares near you, whether it's like inspirational poster or like a plant or peaches, I don't know, whatever it is, I've seen that. I personally haven't hit the point where I'm like, man, I need like a creative inspo, but if that is something that you feel like you might need, by all means, buy a little plant that can sit right here, whatever. Just find a reason, find something that will ignite that in you to write. What is necessary for me is comfort. So find a chair, find a pillow, whatever that you can sit in for however long you're gonna be there and not feel distracted because you're uncomfortable. This chair right here at the island is perfect. It's not like overly comfortable where I'm gonna fall asleep, but it's not so uncomfortable that all I'm thinking about is I wanna get the hell out of the chair. Which, all of that is great, but like I mentioned earlier, all that stuff means nothing if you can't overcome blank page syndrome. Facing a blank page can be daunting, but there are several strategies that I've been using to overcome this. Now, I've talked about this previously, but start with prompts. Prompts can give you direction and just make it easier to actually start writing. Now, you can find prompts online. There's some in the description down below, or you can even just create your own whenever you're bored, just about topics that interest you. Another technique that I've been using is just a brain dump. Basically, what I do with that is I just sit down with my journal and I write down everything that's going on up here. Unfiltered, I don't hold back, I just start writing. That's the key for me, is to just start writing. Sometimes it'll be absolute nonsense, other times it will be absolutely great. It's just one of those things where I feel like if I can start writing, start the process of doing, that will ultimately lead me to having more success. I guess what I'm saying is just get something on the page. Is it gonna be the greatest thing you've ever written? Probably not, but it will be something. What I try to do is I try to set a timer for like 5 minutes during this brain dump phase where I just write and write and write. And what I found is that once I start writing, even in this brain dump, unfiltered sort of way, that eventually they start to mold and take shape into something that's a little more uniform, a little more logical. We just want to eliminate the blankness. Let's just get that out of there. Mainly because writing, doodling, all that stuff really helps get the creative juices flowing. I've also found that another big help is just setting goals for my journaling time. By doing this, I'm actually giving my journaling practice purpose and direction. I start by defining what I want to achieve with my journaling. Now, for you, it will obviously be different from me. It could be about personal growth, stress relief, organizing your day, whatever it may be. The key here is to set SMART goals. I didn't develop SMART goals. I don't want to come across as like an internet guru. It's just something that I've seen all over the internet. I've seen it in a bunch of books. I've actually known about it for a really long time, and I'm sure anybody who's ever done anything like this also knows about it. But just to say I did my due diligence, this is what SMART goals mean. They are goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So, for example, a goal could be to write for 15 to 30 minutes every day. Or it could be to write one gratitude journal every day for the next 30 days. Doesn't matter. Make sure the goal is SMART. By doing this, you're breaking down larger goals into smaller goals, making them more achievable. And review your goals regularly, specifically so that you can track your journaling progress. Tracking my progress has really allowed me to see how far I've come, and the way I've done this is I've set up a habit tracker inside a section of my journal. I note the dates I journaled, how long I journaled for, how many lines I wrote. By doing this, it allows me to really break down and see what it is I'm doing on a day-to-day basis with my journaling. I can see the progress I'm making. I can also see if it's just an off day, like maybe I didn't write a lot that day, and so then I can look back and be like, okay, this is a day that I'm mentally drained. I'm actually kind of trying to track my progress day to day to see if there's a specific day each week that I'm just not there. And then I can evaluate those days and figure out what is it within that day that's causing me to be mentally drained. Was it something at work? Was it something to do with, I don't know, any other external force? By doing this though, I can actually see that and then make those tweaks in my own personal life to bring my mental acuity back up. Hopefully. I doubt it, but we'll see. Either way, regularly reviewing your journaling time is a great way to identify patterns and insights within your life, which will not only help you stay on track, but will also provide you a deeper understanding of your journaling journey. Journaling journey, nailed it. Which in turn will keep you motivated and consistent. Staying motivated can be challenging. Trust me, there's not a lot going on up here. I, more than anyone, can understand if staying motivated, especially with journaling, is tough. It's something I struggle with every single time I sit down to write. But there are several strategies. There's a dog walking in here. But there are several strategies you can use to keep yourself going. First, remind yourself of the benefits of journaling and reflect on the things that it's helped you with so far. If it has helped you, hopefully it has. I know I listed in the first video all the benefits of journaling, and I will tell you so far for me, dog, quit walking. I will say a big thing journaling's done for me is honestly just helped me be more organized with my day. Now, I've always been a semi-organized person, more like organized chaos. However, sitting down every day with my bullet journal and setting out the guidelines for my day has helped me tremendously. I've actually seen my productivity skyrocket. It's gone from like a 1 to a 3. It's a big deal. Also, like I mentioned before, set achievable goals. I'm not gonna talk about being smart again, but just set achievable goals. That's huge. If I told you guys that the best way to master journaling would be to write a book, no one would do it. Start with something small. Maybe just set a goal of just writing a sentence every single day. Matter of fact, write this sentence right here every single day. Write it. And if you don't believe in this sentence, tell me why not. Leave me in the comments, or better yet, write it in your journal. Just remember, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. And maybe that sentence you just saw, maybe that's the single step that you need to really accomplish this hobby in your own life. Now, if you're still struggling with this hobby, the other suggestion I might recommend is find a journaling buddy, even though I know that sounds super lame. You know, working with somebody else, talking through your struggles can be a great way to overcome whatever barrier you're running into. Now, if you need a journaling buddy, I'm not exactly a journaling buddy, but you could always leave a comment down below. And if you are somebody out there who's struggling with journaling, if you see a comment, like a comment, you guys can connect. I don't know. That is one thing you can do based on research I've seen is a lot of people swear by having a journaling buddy. I'm not necessarily gonna let you guys read my journal. I write some stuff in there that I don't want the world to know about, but whatever. Finally, and this is something I have to keep reminding myself, be kind to yourself. It's okay to miss a day or two. Do not feel pressured that you have to hit it every single day. If you miss a day, that's fine. Mental health, way more important than actually just writing in a journal. The important thing is to just get back on track and keep going. If you haven't started journaling yet, then I suggest you watch my first video in this series. It will break down how I got started and basically it'll reignite my whole series here. Again, like always guys, like, subscribe, comment, do all the YouTube stuff. Until next time, thanks for watching.